So today we have a bit exciting news. We have orders export in its early beta, but you can start playing around with it and doing reports and viewing all the detailed orders information. So what we have here in the orders export is basically, here are all the main attributes of the orders, including the source where it has come from, all the taxes, the payment status, and so on. So you see some of those values are, for example, for the same order, they are repeated. And that's for a reason, so that you can do nice reporting, which I will show you just in a minute. So all the browser information about the client, the contact information, the billing fields, and the shipping fields, and here comes the most detailed part. These are the line items, basically all the information what the order consists of. So let me enable the filters. I will show you what those are. So they are split in types, line types. There are basically line items are the products what go into the order, right? For example, we see that this this one order had those kinds of products with those quantities, with those prices, the total amount, the discount applied, and so on, the taxes, right, the fulfillable quantity. So these are the basic line items. Then we can add the shipment line, which is basically the kind of item which shows the shipping cost. Yeah, so it goes also together in the same order. And then comes, let's say you can start, if you start doing fulfillments for your orders, then you have fulfillment lines. So also there are in separate lines all the fulfillments which you do for your products by each product, and here the quantities come as negative, so that that also you can do this further in reporting, which I will show. So also those fulfillment lines, they are connected to fulfillment columns. So you can see that for each fulfillment line there is its status and tracking company, the fulfillment service which was used, and so on, the tracking number, the tracking URL for each of those shipments, so that you can see what was its status for each of them. Then further come, okay, about discounts. I think I missed it. It's about if you apply the discount to the order itself, not to the item, not to the product, but to the whole order, then those will be shown also as a separate discount row. And then sometimes you do the refunds, and also here when viewing all the refund lines, all the refunds go by products which you have refunded. Also the quantities go as negative, and then you can basically know what's the total of your order refund, but not the transaction yet, because basically this is the order lines, they are like the invoice lines, and then there are actual payments, the transactions. And here what's also neatly connected is the refunds themselves. So yes, for each refund line there is a related refund with all the the refund ID and the date and so on, and the notes, and whether the product should be restocked or not. So if it's true, it will be restocked. And then, and if we need to see the refund transactions, we can enable to show transactions. So we look at the refunds and the transactions. And now we go to show also here only we are interested in lines which have something related to refund, and then here are all the transactions basically related to refunds, and you can see the exact amounts which have been refunded, because in Shopify you can refund the product which costs, for example, $500, you can refund it for like 200, and that's the difference, because there is an actual financial transaction, and then there is the cost of the product, which was the initial cost. And so that's how it's connected all together. So, and yes, what else is here? So after those lines, line attributes, there are shipping origins. Is the place where you need to be shipping your items. For example, if you have several warehouses and each product is shipped from its own warehouse, then you will see them here as the shipping origin for each product line. So you can also then do the reports of which products need to be shipped from which origin or from which warehouse. Okay, and then the refund columns, then transaction columns. So basically, if we look at all transactions, here are the transaction types, yes, the transaction kind, to be precise. So, for example, for this ninth order, we had all those transactions where the first was authorization for $610, which didn't actually capture the money. It was just a payment authorization. Then there were 3 captures in these kinds of amounts, and then there were those refunds. Yeah, so in that way you can chronologically see for the order actually what happened with its transactions. Fulfillments I have shown already, and then comes also risks. Shopify gives a risk score for each order, so you can see in that way what kind of risk score sources and what's the recommended action for each of those orders. And here are some messages as well of the reason why there is such a risk score. And once we have this kind of data, we can start asking interesting questions and getting answers. So if I just select all and create a pivot table, yeah, so we can start putting like, okay, let's put the name as rows. So we have here all the orders. Then we can, for example, the question, what are the refunds for all the orders? We can put, so we are obviously then interested in actual, not only the refunds in terms of invoiced line items, but also the transactions. So we put here from line items, we put the filter of line type, and we put the total price. Let's put the total and change the count to sum, and it should be number. Okay, now we see here, but now everything is summed up, and we should filter out. So we wanted to see the refunds, right? So if we just filter to show the refund line, here's all the sum of refunds by the order items. But remember, those are not financial transactions. To see that, we enable here also to show the transactions, and we take the field from transaction, also add the filter of transaction kind, and we put the amount. Also change the count to sum as the number. Okay, and now the transaction kinds, also we are interested in refund transactions and blanks, so that we can see also the line items. Okay, so we see that actually we have sent back these kinds of amounts for those amount of products. Okay, what else can we ask? We can ask how many items we still have to ship, right? For example, then let's remove those. Alright, we need to look also at the line type. Let's put it on the filters, and now we need to count the quantity, and actually we need to sum the quantity, and we need to look at not the refunds but on the fulfillments. So these are fulfillments which we actually have sent. We need to know how much we have to send, so we put also line items. So here, if we just look at the line items, there are one set of quantities, and if we add also fulfillment lines, so it uses those negative quantities to take off the quantity what was already shipped, so we see only what is left to ship. So that way we see that for example, for this order we have to ship 5 items of something. And now to see what this something is, we could add the, for example, the title here to rows, and we see now that, for example, for this order we still have to ship 0 Abyssinian cats, 1 British short-hair cat, and 4 custom items. While the order export is in beta, it's unlimited, so feel free to export all of your orders to Excel, play with it, make some reports, tell us what's working, what's not yet possible, so that we can make it happen. And see you around.